morning.
Good morning.
I am Deborah Falcone. I'm the Director of Oncology Services at West Virginia University Hospital and the Mary Babrinoff Cancer Center Clinic. On behalf of Dr. Abraham and myself and the entire Cancer Center staff, we would like to welcome you this morning to Sharing Hope, Stories of Cancer Journeys. This morning is about creating hope. It's about sharing stories. Today we are privileged to have 5 special people here willing to share their story, their cancer journey with us. And now I have the pleasure to introduce to you one of our cancer survivors that I have known for many years, Cindy Drummond. Cindy and I have known each other since high school. We met on the tennis court playing tennis against each other. For those of you that are from Fairmont, West Virginia, Cindy went to East Fairmont High School and I went to West Side, and trust me, we were definitely rivals. As our lives drifted apart, we both pursued a career in nursing. We both have 2 children, and we both, as we came back together, our paths crossed, and we both worked at West Virginia University Hospital as nurses. Cindy worked in the ICU for 10 years, and I worked in oncology on the 9th floor. Currently now, Cindy works in Clarksburg at a physician's office, works very closely with the neurosurgeon. Cindy's cancer story, as you saw, was in the video, and it's also shared throughout in the Cancer Stories book. Please welcome Cindy to share her cancer journey with us.
Thanks, Debbie. In November of 2001, I heard the words, "You have cancer." In December of 2001, I met Dr. Abraham and Angie, and I heard the words again. But this time, there was a journalism student standing in the background, and she piped in and said, "We would like to film the whole thing." As I heard those words, I could only think, did you just hear what he told me? Were you just listening? After the initial shock wore off, I started to think more clearly, and I thought maybe this is the reason. Maybe this is the reason I was to have cancer. Being a nurse, I was the one to help my patients through difficult times. Now I was the patient, and having a film crew to document the entire process could be a way to help someone through their difficult time. Most people want to forget about all that comes with the diagnosis of cancer. What was I thinking? Was I really going to let someone into what was about to happen? At first, I wasn't sure how to handle my newfound fame. It was difficult at first trying to get chemotherapy eloquently or trying to have a mammogram while being filmed. But after a while, it seemed as if they weren't even there. I went on about getting surgeries, more chemo, labs, more chemo, and radiation. I went from long flowing curls to a shiny bald head. I went from crying to laughing. I went from thinking I was dying to living for each and every day, and with every emotion being caught on film. My entourage, as they came to be known, consisted of a videographer, Clint, and a journalism student, Pam. They came to know me and my family very well. My children even taught Clint to snowboard. Clint and Marianne Reed, the dean of the School of Journalism, even came to the house at 5 a.m. on Christmas to film the whole thing. Through all the nausea, surgeries, crying, and laughing, I became friends with these people. They helped me and my family through one of the most difficult times in my life. Having gone through cancer, you feel as if you've gone to hell and back. There are days when you never want to get up or get out of bed, let alone take care of your family or get up and go to work. This project helped me realize what I had to do. I had to show patients that the diagnosis of cancer is to be met head on. No giving up, no backing down. Dr. Abraham said to me, "You can't let the cancer in there," and I never did. I got up every day and cared for my family, went to work, and every 3 weeks returned to the cancer center for some more chemotherapy. And of course, to give you a hard time. Here I stand 7 years later, healthy and happy, with a full head of hair. I plan to grow old with my husband and see my sons grow up and live their dreams. I hope my fame helps someone face their cancer head on, with no giving up, no backing down, and having a few laughs along the way.
physician with the BMT and HM program here at WVU. I had the pleasure of introducing Midge Thorne, one of my absolute favorite patients in the world. I had the pleasure of actually collecting her stem cells prior to her transplant. Midge?
Oh dear. I told Dr. Craig this morning, I said, I'm more nervous about this than I am, for my bone marrow transplant. And then I got to talking with this fellow, and we decided, you've had cancer, the hell with everything. Let's get this done. It is a pleasure to be here. I see lots of familiar faces. I see family, and I see family. And when cancer survivors tell you it's a pleasure to be somewhere, believe it, because we mean what we say. I told my family that I've been chosen to be the bone marrow transplant poster child. And so my son said, does that mean you're going to be on a billboard? No. And in November, I celebrated my 5th year of being a bone marrow transplant patient, surviving the transplant. I was first diagnosed with cancer on election day of November 2000. I'll give you a heads up. If a doctor comes out into the waiting room to escort you back, you're in big trouble. And it was a bad day for me, and I think it was a really bad day for Al Gore, too.
Yes, it was.
But 6 rounds of chemo. I can still visualize that red stuff going in and get a little nauseous. But 6 rounds of chemo, and I was in remission. Then in the summer of 2003, I got sick again. And this time it was a little bit of a nausea kind of thing, and I came and CAT scans, and my little friend was back. And Dr. Bell was there, and he said, you're only going to feel better if you have chemo, because there was a little lymph node right against the liver, and that's what was making me so nauseous all the time. And sure enough, chemotherapy made me feel better. Imagine that. So since I had a remission failure, I guess you'd say, I was a candidate for a bone marrow transplant. And my brother and my sister both tested, and unfortunately they were not a match. They would have been glad to give me a transplant, cells, but that didn't work out. So I gave myself a transplant. And we had to do lots of checking. They checked your teeth. You had to go to the dentist. You had your heart checked, your lungs checked, the cell count, and then my personal favorite, the bone marrow biopsy. You ever felt like that your feet were being pulled up through the inside of your leg? That's what it feels like. But Dr. Mike, he's great, okay? Then you get nuked until you're about this close to dying. This close. And Kelly was there, and we had a problem with the pheresis machine the first day. And, she was upset that the machine didn't work right, and I was thinking, oh man, somebody's going to have to clean out all those tubes and get all that gunk out of there, and it was a mess. But she told me, she came back on Saturday the next day and said, now Midge, if we can get a 5, you'll hear me hooping and hollering all the way from Pennsylvania. So they came back in and they told me that I had gotten a 13. And this time a 13 was a very, very lucky number. So they take your stem cells, and it's, they hook you up to, and it's just through your arms and stuff. It's not like they have to pull it out through your bone marrow or anything like that. So, and all you have to do is just lay there. And I can do that. I do that really well. And so, they take it out, and then they bring it back in little bags, and they put it in your arm, and you're just laying there, and I had my little affirmation tapes and meditation tapes, And I just went right along with that. I always used to drive up to my chemo with the meditation and the affirmations, but you have to do the affirmations in the car because you have to do the meditations with your eyes closed, and that's not a good thing when you're driving.
I understand.
Right. I have a good story for Dr. Bell. I guess there's supposed to be a lot of pain whenever you have the transplant, a lot of body aches and stuff. And so I had morphine, a little morphine drip, you know, that little button that you can push if you feel really hurting bad. And so Dr. Bell came in one day. This was one of my sister's favorite things. He came in and he said, "Tell me about yourself." And there were a bunch of little baby, I called them the baby doctors, around the foot of my bed. And you know, I had an audience, and I was on a roll, and I started telling him, well, I was born in September of 1954, and my parents were born in June Hudson, and I had an audience. And it's a good thing that I didn't look over at my sister and my husband because they were kind of like going. And I wasn't really looking at Dr. Bell's face, but finally when I took a breath, he meant to ask me, "Are you feeling any kind of pain whatsoever?" And I said, only, my stomach hurts a little bit every now and then. And so finally he escaped. And in less than 45 minutes, my morphine was gone. So, that's one of our favorite stories to tell about Dr. Bell. And now another thing that I learned about cancer is that, all those little prepackaged saline syringes, those things are wonderful. But anyway, we got into a water fight with them. And I slipped out, and I was going to go under my arm and shoot somebody. Well, no one told me that they squirt this way. And so I never got my intended victim. But I heard that there was a big, big one with a lot larger syringes out in the hallway later. I missed that fight. But Dr. Craig was instrumental in that. It is a serious place. The bone marrow transplant unit is a place where you live for weeks on time, and you don't get to go anywhere. You pretty much stay there. And since I was contagious, I had C. diff quite a lot. Dr. Mike says that Aaron, my personal pharmacist, made sure I got that. I also had lots of problems with blood clots, infections, temperamental central lines where you'd kind of have to hold like this to get medicine in there to go right. But I was never, ever alone. And I was a member of a team. And the team included my regular family, but it also included my doctors. And my husband went by one day and he said, "They were talking about you," and everybody in there was talking about you, and so everybody knew what was going on with me all the time. I had my personal doctors, I had my personal nurses, I had my personal pheresis person, I had personal nursing assistants, my personal pharmacist, my personal nurse practitioner, my personal physician's assistant, my personal social worker, personal therapist, and my personal harpist. If anyone's ever been in the Cancer Center and you've been fortunate enough to hear the harp, it's just wonderful. And I think that I'm here today because of all of those people, and I love them. They are special to me. And now when I come and check up, I'd say never come to the Cancer Center by yourself, but I come for checkups. I say, "Oh, you don't have to come with me anymore. I just go for hugs." And that's really, really what I do. Every Thanksgiving, I know that there's a nurse that will always think of me because she was there when I had my personal meltdown, when I wasn't allowed to just go just a few blocks away to my brother's house for Thanksgiving dinner. I wanted to be with my family so much. They see you at your lowest point and love you anyway. I love to come here because they say, Midge, you look so good. Because they see me when I didn't look so good. They work hard. We have an annual transplant reunion, and they come down in my neck of the woods in central West Virginia. And they give up their time and work hard and make baskets and gifts, and it's a big party, and we get to eat, and oh, it's just wonderful fun. And it's wonderful to go. The first time I went, when I was probably about 6 months into my recovery, you know, when you go there and people are there, have been coming for these reunions for 20 years. And so that always gives you so much hope that you know that you have a chance. So one thing that I need to tell you, and I think everybody here knows this, is that cancer is a teacher. It teaches you lots and lots of things about yourself and about others. So I wrote down a few things that I've learned about cancer and learned from cancer. I'm thankful for each day and grateful for my many blessings. I've learned there's lots worse things than not having hair. I've learned to be open and open myself to receive the prayers of others, even people from I don't know. Prayer is a valuable healing force. I've learned that 3 liters a day is a lot of drinking to rehydrate yourself.
Yes.
I've learned that people at Panera Bread have no sense of humor with the blue punk wig. Love it. I've given myself permission to be a little selfish at times. I realize I don't have to volunteer now for everything, and I can say no, and that's okay. So give your permission, self-permission to do that. I've learned that you really cannot spot your son, a member of the Pride of West Virginia, with binoculars from a room facing the football field. It was 6-0 when we realized the band wasn't there anymore. I've learned there's always someone here at the Cancer Center much worse off than me. I've learned the statement, "Tell me about yourself," may mean something else. I've learned that attitude and mental preparation is just as important as your physical condition. And I'll leave you with this. It's on a plate that I have at home. Live for today, for we don't know what tomorrow may bring or what it may take away.
Mm-hmm.
Patients at the Mary Babber Cancer Center, and I am honored to introduce Mr. Bruce Martin.
Can everybody hear me? I've never done this before, speaking to a microphone, so I don't know if you can hear me well or not. I go by Buck Martin. I'm from Palestine, West Virginia, about 2 hours and 45 minutes from here down below Parkersburg. I think Palestine's only possible claim to fame is a young lady named Jessica Lynch that you may remember. I came here about 2.5 years ago. I think it was November 30th of 2006. My local ENT in Parkersburg had said those 3 dreaded words, "You have cancer," on October 25th of that year. And I'd gone into the mad panic and scramble that I think a lot of us do, trying to figure out what the hell do I do now. So I went and saw various doctors and got on the internet and probably spent 16 hours a day researching my cancer and trying to figure out what the possible treatment modalities were. And started looking for a place based on what I've read, that I wanted to find a place that was affiliated with a university that had a multidisciplinary team approach to cancer treatment. And after some waiting, I got an appointment up here. So we drove up, my wife and I, and scheduled appointments with Dr. Altaha in medical oncology and Dr. Young in radiation oncology. And I had meetings with them, and I was also interested in pursuing a surgical option to my cancer. And so they brought in Dr. Rosick, and I met him the next morning. And I was pretty well at the end of my rope. I'd gone around chasing my tail for about a month, and I didn't figure the cancer was taking a time out, waiting for me to make my decision. And I felt under a lot of pressure to make a decision, but I was afraid of making the wrong one. So I met with everybody, discussed all the options, and I decided probably, unlike 90% of patients with cancer of the voice box, I decided to have surgery first. And I remember that morning, Dr. Rosick had spent, if I remember correctly, a good hour and a half, probably going on 2 hours, talking with my wife and I about this. And Dr. Altaha was in the room, and Dr. Young stopped. They were all three there, in and out. And I finally broke down and started crying. And I told Dr. Rosick, I don't give a damn about my voice. I want to be treated to save my life. And Dr. Rosick looked at me and he said, that's the most significant thing that's been said in you in the last 2 hours. And that's what I ended up doing. I had surgery to remove my voice box, and I haven't shut up since. The reason I'm here, and I was kind of heartened to hear today the first two speakers out there at the ribbon cut. I've been here longer than they have. I've learned a lot in the last couple of years too. Like Midge was saying, some of it good and some of it maybe I wish I hadn't learned. But nevertheless, I learned. The very last thing you said about knowing not what tomorrow's going to bring, I was reminded very strongly of that 3 weeks ago. My brother dropped dead of a heart attack at the age of 64. It wasn't a surprise because of his lifestyle, but it was a shock. So I keep reminding myself, I have to remind myself, because I'm a pessimist, and I always have been. So I have to constantly look for ways to count my blessings. And when I was living up here at the Rosenbaum, I was getting my chemo and radiation after my surgery. Every day, I saw somebody that reminded me of just how lucky I am. Some tragic things you see at this hospital. I had a neighbor and a friend die 4 weeks ago of lung cancer. He was diagnosed 6 months ago, and he's dead now. His son runs cattle on my farm. He lost his father at the age of 53. One thing we all live with this cancer, one thing I've never been able to escape from. Once you have cancer, you're always a cancer patient. And you always live. I've never believed in ghosts, but I believe in the cancer ghost. There's a ghost there that constantly tries to come out and remind you that you have cancer. I had my scans last week, and they came back clean. So I'm 2 years post-treatment, but that ghost still jumps out. It's rarely a day goes by that you don't think about cancer. And I always will, I suppose. You can't forget it. Never will forget it. I go to bed every night with an MP3 player, and I listen to books. There's a website I find where they volunteers record classic books. And it's everything from Shakespeare to Twain to poetry to you name it. I started a new book last night. Somewhere here I wrote it down. The very first sentences of the book, when I heard them last night, it's a novel about ancient Egypt, written by a writer named H. Rider Haggard. The very first chapter of the book starts this way. There are some events of which each circumstance and surrounding details seems to be engraved on the memory in such a fashion that we cannot forget it. And so it is with this scene I am about to describe. It arises so clear before my mind at this moment as though it happened yesterday. That's kind of, I think for anyone that's a patient of cancer, they can relate to that. Well, let's forget about the negative stuff. And I just want to extend my absolute sincere gratitude to my family, my wife and my son. That's another story. We're in California this week celebrating the marriage of my wife's youngest son. I chose to stay here and do this rather than go do that. My sister Sandy, sitting back here, spent 15 years as a nationally certified oncological nurse. She's retired now, and she's been my rock through all of this. I owe a debt of gratitude forever to Dr. Rossick and Dr. Altaha and Dr. Young and all the staff from the janitor is right on up. This is an incredible place. I've been treated with respect and dignity. Never a harsh word in 2.5 years from anybody. The harshest words, they weren't harsh, but I want to share it because I thought it was funny, and my sister will remember it. At 6:30 in the morning on the day of my surgery, I was laying on that cart waiting to get rolled into the operating room. And needless to say, I was as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. And my sister was standing there, and my wife trying to calm me down, and the anesthesiologist came, and the nurses and all of those operating room people getting me prepped and ready. And then Dr. Rossi walked in. He asked me how I was doing. And I felt like saying, how the hell do you think I'm doing? You're about to slit me from ear to ear. Take out my voice box. Transplant my butthole in my neck. Leave me speechless. I'm doing just fine. I didn't say any of that. But I looked him in the eyes and I said, I certainly hope you have your A game on today. And he looked at me with a look that, if looks would kill, I'd have been a dead man. And he said, I always have my A game. And I found that to be a consistent theme throughout this entire facility. These people have their A game on up here, and if you need cancer treatment, I can't think of any place I'd rather go. And I'll just close with that. One more thing, I promised I'd say it. I don't say it very often, but I promised myself today that in front of this audience, I would say it. I gambled with smoking for over 40 years, and I paid the price. That's all I'll say about it.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Huff, and I'm the nurse clinician with the lung cancer program here at the Mary Bab Randolph Cancer Center. I have the honor and privilege today to introduce your next speaker, and she's going to bring you her journey with lung cancer. Before I introduce her, I just want to say she has been a joy as a patient and an inspiration, not just to the patients here, but to the staff as well. So if you would help me welcome Mrs. Wilda Corbin.
Well, I'm nervous. Like being in high school again. I would like to say how grateful and thankful and honored I am to have been asked to speak here today. My story really started in October 1997. I came here to see Penny Glover to see if she could help me stop smoking. I had smoked 26 years, so with her counseling for a year and a lot of help from Zyban, I gave up cigarettes on November 17, 1997. Little did I know that 10 years later, I would be back at the same building again. In November 2007, I was diagnosed with stage 2A lung cancer and moderate COPD. My surgeon, Dr. Graber, said I would have only had 16 months to live had this not been found. He pulled no punches with the truth, and you do need the truth in order to face this. I asked him how he would get to the lung. If any of you know Dr. Graber, he said he would make a long incision from my back to my chest, spread my rib cage open like a fan. Well, that was just too much info for me. 4 hours in surgery, a lobectomy, 3 chest tubes, and the removal of 1 lymph node. I had made it. My husband was amazed at how fast my thumb worked on that button of the morphine. That was good stuff. I spent 12 days in the hospital, and I could not have asked for better care. I had a great cancer doctor, Dr. John Rogers. He got me through 4 rounds of chemo and a year in a clinical trial drug study. Dr. Rogers had told me how faith in God and would help me through this, and how important my family would be during my ordeal. He was so right. I could have not have done it without my husband of 36 years. Oh. My daughter April, my son Charles, and 4 grandchildren, and especially vanilla milkshakes, because that was the only thing that tasted good. I lost my hair after my first chemo treatment, and I acquired the nickname Little Demi. I just wish I had Demi Moore's body. The only thing I couldn't do was what my youngest granddaughter wanted me to do. She hoped my hair would come back in blue and gold for the Mountaineers. I have met a lot of wonderful people here at the Cancer Center, from the coffee lady to the CAs in the cancer lab, to the nurses in the treatment area, the doctors, the fellows, and especially the other patients, some of whom are no longer with us. I know that if my cancer should return, I have a super great treatment center to come to and a family. We really are a family here. In closing, I would like to tell you what cancer cannot do. Cancer cannot invade the soul,
Right.
suppress your memories, kill friendships, destroy peace, conquer the spirit, shatter hope, cripple love, corrode faith, steal eternal life, or silence your courage. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Angela Price. I have the pleasure of working with the breast cancer team for the past 9 years, since Dr. Jane Abraham joined our program here and has led us to many wonderful things here at the Cancer Center. I do work with the breast cancer program. I'm the nurse clinician for the program, and a couple years ago, Dr. Abraham and I met this amazing woman. We had heard from a friend of ours that used to work with our team about this friend of her mother's that we just needed to take wonderful care of, because as soon as we met her, we knew we would love her. And so we walked into the exam room that day, and here sat Miss Gwen Pennington, 2 friends of hers, and her husband Rick we heard about, but we did not meet the very first day. And from the moment that we met her, about 3 years ago, I think, she has changed our lives. She has changed our lives for the better. She has become a dear, true friend of mine that I love very much. And it's my privilege and honor to introduce Miss Gwen Pennington. And after she speaks, you'll see what I mean.
Get me up here, girls. an honor to be with you today. I am so humbled that I got to be a part of this celebration. I'm the blind one of this bunch. When I came to the Cancer Center, I only knew one person that knew anyone here. Her name was Trina. She used to be Dr. Abraham's PA. She was at my house the day I was diagnosed with cancer, seeing my house, and she'd been trying to get there for a year, y'all. I want you to know, she said, when I got the report, she said, Gwen, there's some people you've got to meet. And she said, I'm going to call Dr. Abraham and see if I can get you in to see him. I said, where is he, Trina? She said, he's in Morgantown. I said, oh, my Lord, I'm blind, Trina. She said, oh, it's okay. Let's just go get you down there to see him. My report got lost, you all. I went from an aggressive 4 to 5 centimeters until the report was found, and this was not at the Mary Bab Randolph Cancer Center. But when they found the report, it was a 9 to 10. I came to Dr. Abraham and Angie, and I'm telling you, from the minute I met them, I knew God had given them to be a part of my life. I started out a normal life with eyesight and went to nursing school, became a nurse, served, loved every minute of it. And then I went blind. But I didn't let that affect anything or slow me down. I kept right on rolling. I went into the vending business. My husband and I met. We've never seen each other in the natural, but we have I've convinced Rick I'm beautiful, and he's convinced me he's handsome. So we have a wonderful marriage now. We've been married many years and have been through many things, but this took the cake. When I found out I had cancer, I don't think Rick could ever see me cry, because I tell you, I get into more things, and he never knows what I'm going to do next. But when I found out I had cancer, I went to Rick across the room. We had a good cry, and I said, God is in control, Rick, and he's going to take care of this. And I have not slowed down since. I ended up coming to Morgantown. When I found out I was going to have a mastectomy, I thought, my goodness, how am I going to do this? And I'm telling you, my family, and I mean my adopted family, jumped in. I never missed a treatment. I went through radiation and chemo again, and I never was late, only once. And I think that was because Carla just doesn't drive quite as fast as Mary. But I came down here. Now, being a nurse, you know, medical people, they're hard to work with. They think they know everything, and they think they've got all the answers. And I come down here, and I'm telling you what, I've been down here 3 years now, y'all. I've never seen these crews make a mistake. Now, I want you to know that's saying something from a medical person. I was so blessed to be a part of this hospital and this cancer center. And I tell you, I want you to know, last year I called Dr. Abraham and I said, Dr. Abraham, I said, I want to go to Haiti on a mission trip. I said, and everybody says I shouldn't go. He said, Gwen, go. I got my passport and here I went. Got over there in Haiti, couldn't speak a word of Haitian Creole, and had the best time. I got to shadow in the clinic over there. And I got to the clinic, y'all, and here came a woman that I got to meet that had breast cancer. The woman, the cancer had eaten all the way outside of her breast, and they told her there was actually no hope. She was going to die. She came to the clinic. We were blessed to send her to another city, and we took up a donation of $30 that got her treatment. And she today is alive. But you see, what I got to share with her was the hope. And what a blessing this place has been to me. And we spoke for a long time with an interpreter and had a good time talking, but we wore him out. But the thing that I want to talk to you about today, and for only a moment, is the care we get here. Now, I told Dr. Abraham, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I don't say things I don't mean. I'm not one of those people that sugarcoats anything. I tell you like it TIZ is. And I know that this is a blessed hospital. I know that God has given us all of these doctors, nurses, clinicians, lab people, radiology. I know He's given it to us. And I want you to realize today how blessed we are to have these people. I know that I would not be here today if it were not for God and this staff here. And I'm so eternally grateful to them. Because you see, they're a part of my family now too. Now my husband, Rick, and I do not have any children. But I'm telling you what, our house is always full. And I love to come to Morgantown. It's such a blessing to get to be with people that care about your life. This staff here cares about us, y'all. And they are a part of us. And I thank God every day for every one of them. But I want you to know that if now, and I live every day to the fullest, but I want you to know that if I were to die today, and Jesus were to say, why should I let you into my heaven, Gwen? I would say I'm trusting in Jesus Christ alone for eternal life. And I've had the best time down here until I go there because of this staff. I thank God every day for people that have taken the oath of caring. And this staff has. And they have so blessed each of us. And they are such a part of our family. And you know, when anything happens concerning Angie and Dr. Abraham, it is a part of me. Now, Dr. Abraham and I, when I started this, I had red hair down to here. And Dr. Abraham and I talked about that, and that I was going to lose it. Well, I did. But I was cute bald-headed. And Dr. Abraham and I got along real well during my bald-headedness. But when I started growing hair, y'all, there became a little bit of a jealous spirit. When he walks in now, I shake my hair and I say, "Hi, Dr. Abraham." But in closing, I would like to say this. I've lived in Arkansas. I've been raised in Tennessee. And then I migrated with my husband to West Virginia. I'm so thankful that this hospital and the Mary Barbara Randolph Cancer Center and the Betty Pushcart Center are here. And I'm so thankful that my life has been spared to be a part of it. And in closing, I want you to know that we should live every day to the fullest. I don't want to miss anything. Even though I'm blind, have had cancer, and crazy as a loon, I want to live every day to its fullest because I've been spared. And I'm telling you, I know that the Mary Barbara Randolph Cancer Center may not have the largest name in the United States, but it is certainly the best. And I'm so grateful to everyone that has worked all of these years. And as I get ready to go to my seat, I would just like to say that I would like all of us to stand and give those that have served us so faithfully and wonderfully through these years, give them a hand and show our appreciation. We can't do anything for them, but give them a hand for the help they've been for us. Let's stand and give them a hand.
Good morning. It's amazing. I really thank all our special guests, all our patients who took their time to come and talk to us. Let's give them a big hand. And I thank all of you for making time and being part of our this wonderful day. And before I move on to introduce our doctors, I would like to welcome Dr. Rowley to come over here and introduce our Bonnie's Bus team.
So this has just been a terrific morning, and Jane has introduced our colleagues over here. Amy, why don't the three of you stand up? We've just started Bonnie's Bus. So there's Amy Mayhew. I've met our new mammographer, and I'm a bad boy because I'm blocking on your names. So maybe Amy, you can introduce her, and then Gary, our driver. So
this is Jean Short. She's our mammographer, and this is Gary. He's our driver.
So Bonnie's Bus.
Let me welcome all our doctors over here. I'm going to ask Dr. Vasak, who is the head of the Head and Neck Cancer Program over here, to come and say a few words about his program and his work over here.
I just want to reiterate what you just said. I think that the stories that we just heard are the reason that we do what we do. And I've had the opportunity to work here this is the 10th year, and I've seen a lot of patients that have really inspired me, but this group of patient testimonials I've never seen anything like it. I've been to the Tour of Hope, I've been all over the world to Live Strong events and other cancer foundations. I mean, this is the most inspiring event that I have ever witnessed. And I am so proud of all of you. I don't know most of you. I do now, but I didn't before. And Buck, I just don't even know what to say. I mean, you inspire all of us, and I think what Buck didn't say is that it's true that he hasn't shut up since we. But what he didn't say is what he's been talking about and who he's been talking to. And he is truly a leader in the state. He has organized laryngectomy support groups. He is just an inspiration to cancer patients all over. And I think I really would rather just focus on that than our cancer program. I think that our patients have talked about our cancer program, and this is your day, so thank you.
Dr. Royce is the head of our co-director for our lung cancer program, the Cancer Center.
Well, Sarah and I are here. Carl, come on up. I became involved in the lung cancer program about 14 years ago. I was asked to help out for a period of time, getting got going. And working with a group of physicians, a surgeon, a radiation oncologist, a radiologist, pathologist, nursing, pathology, working together, trying to give the best possible care to patients. I found a strength in that approach that just drew me to it. And 14 years later, that's mostly who I am. Lung cancer is a difficult cancer. It's often further along than it should be when it's found, and makes treatment difficult. There are some things. There's some hope though coming, and there's beginning to be some things for early diagnosis through the blood and the CAT scan that gives us hope for the future. But putting together surgery, Dr. Graber, who was with us for so many years, Dr. Young, myself for medical oncology, to try to treat with multiple approaches at the same time has made a difference. It's added 10 to 15% to the 5-year survival in lung cancer that is surgery. And there's some new targeted therapy for lung cancer, particularly against the blood vessels, that has shown to be a positive thing in patients with advanced lung cancer. And will jump to the chance to help others. In a trial that put standard chemotherapy together, either to get or not to get this anti-blood vessel treatment. She didn't care what she got. She just wanted to help others. And, so that the future will get better, and we're blessed to be able to help.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Carl Jung. I'm with the section of radiation oncology, and I think some of our staff are here. Would you like to come down? And I'm sure some of our patients recognize some of the wonderful people that have treated them.
Yes.
We're just very proud to be a part of a multidisciplinary team. We work with surgeons, medical oncologists, nurses, members of the transplant team, and offer radiation therapy patients or services to wonderful patients throughout West Virginia, and we're very proud of that and very thankful. Thank you very much.
Dr. Elswick is very unique because he's one of the few, or probably only one, psycho-oncologist in the state. And as we all know, when a person goes through a diagnosis of cancer, it's not just the cancer, it's not just the disease we're dealing with many other things. So Dr. Elswick is a huge addition to our cancer center in the past 2 years.
I have the best job in America, and easily coming to work every day. And being at WVU, you wear a lot of hats. You're with multiple departments. Maybe you have to do one thing. One day you have to have this cooker burning, or you have to have this department or this person you need to have accountability towards. And I can say that working at the Cancer Center is the highlight of my life. And it all started in 2001 when I went from baby doctor my intern year, and I met Dr. Abraham. And one of the first things he said to me, back then I think the residents only spent time in the hospital, and we ICUs, and we take care of the very sick patients. And he said, we've got to change this. We've got to make it so the residents see how well people do. So I think he started with putting the residents in our clinic for the first time in about 2001, 2002. So my first experience, I have a unique training. I'm an internist and a psychiatrist, and I saw the change that people had in their lives, and that inspired me to pursue a path that ended up here. And I'm so grateful to help, number one, inspire hope by fighting stigma. And we have a lot of stigma nationally and also in the state. And that's one thing we have to work on. And hopefully by the time I'm no longer a baby doctor and I'm about ready to retire, that stigma is not even something in the vocabulary of cancer care. And that's what we work towards. Myself and all the other ancillary staff from anesthesia and from palliative care that work and try to do our little part is what we try to accomplish.
When I met Dan in 2001, he had long flowing hair. One of the requirements for him to work in the cancer center is he has to lose his hair. And he did that. And I would like to ask Amy and Kathy, both they are representing the infusion center and the inpatient side.
I'm Kathy Quinlan. I'm one of the nurses in the infusion area. And I've been here for many, many years. I guess I was thinking this morning about what I might say if I needed to come up here. And I think what has allowed me to come to work every day, it's the patients. People often say, how can you do that day in and day out? And I say, the patients will never, they bring me to my knees. I'm so grateful to come in contact with them and to hear their stories and to be able to do whatever I can every day that I'm here to help them get through this, the most difficult probably thing they've ever had to do in their life. That makes me come back every day. So I just am grateful for getting to know every one of them, and we do become family. We know their kids, we know their grandkids, we know everything about them. It's just a pleasure. I love coming to work every day. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amy Coaches, and I am an inpatient nurse on oncology and bone marrow transplant unit. My journey started here about 11 years ago when I guess was a baby nurse fresh out of nursing school, and I was hired by Debbie to start on oncology, and I'm glad I started here. This is where I belong. I was 21 years old when I started here, and I was a baby. And now I'm going to have a baby. It's my little nurse in training here. It taught me so much to work up here. Each and every patient that I meet, I keep in my heart. And they've taught me life lessons that I try to take outside the hospital and lead my life that way. We have a lot of tears, we have a lot of laughs, and I know this is where I belong. I really don't have much more to say, I'm sorry, I didn't. I love to come to work every day. I love to see my patients smile. I'm always there for them, no matter what. And Non-West has made me a better person throughout the years. So thank you.
I met Mike Craig. I think he was a second-year medicine resident when I met him first time, and he grew up, and he's much smarter than me now. He's doing an outstanding job at the Cancer Center. He is leading our transplant program. So if you'd like to come over with Kelly and his team. And
so it's lovely to see everybody here today. Thank you for coming to the opening of our new building. I am very fortunate. I am one member of a large team of people that make our program go forward every day. We are thrilled to be here to serve all of West Virginia and all the patients that need us. We are happy to come here to do that every day. We hope to be doing it for many years in the future. We are very honored. We are very blessed to have a new building, and we are absolutely thrilled with our new environment, and we are hoping that we can continue this for many years to come. And it's so nice to look out here and see colleagues and patients and family and friends to help us do this every day. Thank you very much.
So Dr. Hassett walking in, I don't know if she... All right. Hannah, come over here. Hannah, again. Hannah was one of our own residents, finished residency from here, went to Northwestern, and we were lucky to get her back here as a breast surgeon. And I'm lucky to work with her every day. Hannah.
We're on the spot here, but the only thing I have to say is it's an honor to be back. I am born and raised here, went away for a little while, just enough to realize how much I want to be back. I'm lucky to have the job that I have. I'm phenomenally lucky to have the colleagues that I have, Dr. Abraham and the rest of the crew. And what you said about patients bringing us to your knees, it's true. Thank you very much for letting me be part of your team.
Not exactly lastly, but Kristen Trenges and Angie. That's our team. Kristen, if you could come up and talk about what you do. She's actually, in addition to working in the breast cancer program, she's focusing on breast cancer prevention and genetic counseling at this point. Recently, we got a grant from Susan Komen Foundation for building our genetic counseling program, but Kristen is doing the prevention clinic at this point.
Hi, everyone. I work with this man every day, and he didn't tell me I'd have to say anything. That's okay. So as Dr. Abraham said, I'm the physician assistant. I work with him and also Dr. Kurian. I feel very lucky to be working with both of them. And we have a wonderful nurse, Angie Price. And then I just wanted to add too, I do feel really lucky to be working with patients who have cancer. I actually, I was 23 when I got out of PA school, armed with this degree, and what do I do with it? So I lost my mom when I was 22 to metastatic lung cancer, and I knew that oncology was something that I was very passionate about. And Dr. Abraham was my first interview 2 months later, and he was in desperate need of a PA, but he was interviewing a couple people the same day, and I think he saw that passion in me. And so I just want to thank him for letting me pursue my dream. And everyone here that I've come across working with, all the colleagues, the fellows, the physicians, nurses, CAs, everybody, have just been absolutely wonderful people. And they really inspire me, and our patients inspire me. So thank you all.
Again, I thank all of you for coming. It's a wonderful day for the Cancer Center. And again, I continue my promise that we'll work hard every day to provide you the best care. We have a reception after this, and enjoy the day. Thank you.